Mostly clear with a low of 8 degrees, wind chill values at -2, and a northwest wind up to 25 miles per hour. Sunday's weather, sunshine, 17 degrees for a high. Wind chill values as low as -4 and a breeze from the northwest. Monday, sunshine and a high near 26. Tuesday, a chance of some snow before 4 p.m., mostly cloudy, high of 36. Little or no snow accumulation is expected at this time. Christmas Eve, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 20. Christmas Day, mostly sunny with a high of 35 and a breeze from the north. Thursday, mostly sunny and a high of 36. And Friday, mostly sunny, 41.
And currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have 31.3 degrees. Temperature just dropped 0.2 degrees. Welcome to the Cheap Seats. Thank you for joining us in the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan along with Pat Holland. We got a big show for you today. We will be joined by Marty Crowley, the athletic director from Cumberland High School, as we promote the 51st annual Northern Rhode Island Boys and Girls Club holiday basketball tradition. So we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna do some local things, then we'll bring in Marty. So let's jump right in. Last night, the Providence College Friars welcomed back old friend Rick Pitino and the number 22 ranked St. John's basketball team. Both teams did not want to win this game. PC had a huge first half lead and led at the half 42-29. St. John's cut into the lead with a strong second half, ultimately tied the game with approximately 5 minutes to go. Then both teams went back and forth. PC ultimately tied the game with 11 seconds left. But St. John's hit a little soft jumper as time expired to win 72-70. St. John's gave PC a chance by shooting just 42.3% from the line, 11 for 26. However, PC did not enjoy that gift. While St. John's had just 6 turnovers, PC had a whopping 17 turnovers, leading to 19 points. PC drops to 7-6 on the season, 1-1 in the Big East, while St. John's improves to 10-2 overall and 2-0 in the Big East.
Yeah, and Rick Pitino said John Havlicek's not walking through that door to take foul shots.
Exactly,
Right?
Pitino did say that. Larry Bird's not walking through that door.
Yeah, after defeating Central Connecticut last Sunday by a score of 77-69, the 10-1 Rhody Rams get back into action tonight versus 7-4 Temple Owls in the Hall of Fame Classic out in Springfield, Mass. Tip-off is set for 6:30.
And both PC and URI are off until New Year's Eve after that. 6-7, Bryant University, tough luck losers last Saturday. 86-84 to Fordham at Mohegan Sun. Travel to Towson University tomorrow night to take on the 4-8 Tigers with a 1 o'clock tip-off tomorrow afternoon. Next game for Bryant after that will be December 30th.
7-3 Brown Bears have a tough test tomorrow at 3 when they travel to face the number 8 team in the country, Kansas. Then they also have a week off before playing number 4 Kentucky on New Year's Eve at Kentucky. Good luck to the Ivy League Bears. That's a tough schedule.
That's a very tough schedule. 2 road teams, only against 2 top 10 teams. Speaking of the Ivy League, Pat, for the first time in over 100 years, the Ivy League will be able to compete for an NCAA championship. The Ivy League champion will get an automatic bid into the FCS playoffs beginning next season. So that's actually pretty exciting for some Northeast football. Brown, Harvard have a legit shot now to play. Maybe bring a little bit more credibility back to some Northeast football as well as around here it's Boston College or nothing basically for any hopes of any college football.
Right. And over on the hockey scene, Brown Hockey last played on the 7th. They're off until the 29th when they host LIU over at Meehan. And the number 7 ranked Friar hockey team also last played on the 7th. They're off till next Saturday when they play Northeastern at 4 o'clock as part of the Ledyard Classic in Hanover, New Hampshire. Following day, they will play either Alaska Anchorage or Dartmouth.
In the 3rd place, Providence Bruins will take on the 6th place Hartford Wolfpack in a rare home game tonight at 7. The PBs look to start another winning streak as their 6-game win streak came to an end Wednesday night, 4-3 in overtime to the Philadelphia Phantoms. So that pretty much wraps things up on the local front. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will have Marty Crowley, the Cumberland High School Athletic Director, in studio to discuss the 51st Annual Northern Rhode Island Boys and Girls Club Holiday Basketball Tournament, which will be held at Cumberland High School. That features Tolman High, Woonsocket High, Lincoln High School, the exciting part, a tournament that you can hear right here on WOON 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, OneSocketRadio.com. You can watch it on the website. You can watch it on our Facebook page. Pat and I will be doing those games. Pat and I had a bit of a warm-up last night. We got to call a game together. So Marty, we got to practice for your tournament. So doing a game last night. So when we come back, we'll have Marty Crowley in studio. You'll listen to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. Marty will be joining us in the Cheap Seats on 99.5 FM, 1240 AM, and OneSocketRadio.com right after these messages.
First news, best music. This is ON Radio.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied.
The world-class distributor of all things electrical is Electrical Wholesalers. They are a full-service electrical distributor with branches throughout Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Locally, they're at 113 Clinton Street next to KFC here in Woonsocket, with other locations in Cranston and Franklin, Massachusetts. Electrical Wholesalers provides the highest quality service to electrical contractors, as well as residential, commercial, and industrial customers. Electrical Wholesalers is open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Visit ew-ne.com. Electrical Wholesalers.
Hi folks, this is Tom Marshall, founder of Marshall Building and Remodeling. You know, when it comes to choosing a roofing, siding, or window company for your home, you need to protect yourself from inexperience, unfair prices, and shoddy work. The best way to do that is to call Marshall. We'll give you honest advice and a fair price. Then you decide. With Marshall, there's no money down, great warranties, and the best work and service available, period. Make your home beautiful with Marshall. Visit us at marshallbr.com, and remember, we are your local roofing, siding, and window people.
We're local and live at 99.5.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats. Joining us in studio is Marty Crowley, from the athletic director from Cumberland High School. Marty, thank you again for joining us in the Cheap Seats.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. Good to be here on a beautiful northeast Saturday morning, right?
Well, the temperature since we've gone on the air has gone up a full degree. We're up to 32.4 right now, so it's getting balmy out there now. So, Marty, I just want to congratulate you on a great fall season, and congrats to Coach Lima. Not only for Cumberland, making it to the Final Four, but being the only public school in the Final Four this year, and understanding the new RPI system. We would talk about it during the broadcast here and there. We brought it up here and there on our show as well. But utilizing the new RPI system basically to his advantage, in Cumberland with the strong out-of-state opponents like Reading, Mass, and Salem, New Hampshire.
Right. Coach Lima's been around for a minute. He's a great education-based athletic coach. And when looking for games, as with all our programs, we want to challenge ourselves. We want to face the best competition that we can in order to promote our programs. And so, Coach Lima, we had actually a home with Attleboro for a couple of years going back. I think Somerset Berkeley the last couple of years.
That's
we
right.
played them home and away. And it's just trying to challenge yourself again at the top level. So, we reached out. We have a 2-year agreement with Salem, New Hampshire, and Reading, Mass. And so next year it'll flip-flop. We'll go to Salem, and Reading will come to us to try to grab PowerPoints for the RPI. And it did pay off because even though it's based on your average, we did play one more game than North Kingston, who had a better record than us. But because we ended up playing two teams at the time, I think it was 17-2. Reading got knocked out by Mansfield, I think, in the semis, and Salem won their first playoff game, and they lost 8-7 at some point in time. But good competition, good games for us, and again, shout out to Coach Lehman and all our four coaches for just giving themselves hard schedules.
Right. I mean, we joke, it always feels like it's going to be Hendricken and LaSalle at the end standing, and it was again this year. But, Hendricken did lose to a public team during the season in Fort Smith, and anyway, and, doing some of the Cumberland games this year, and as a graduate of Cumberland, you know who I was rooting for. So.
Yeah, you know what we battle, and our QB1 is a Gatorade Player of the Year,
Yes.
Evan Spencer.
Yep.
When you have him and talking to the guys from Reading and or Salem, listen, because I always go out from the line, they say, that he's by far the best football player they'll see all year. And coming from, from a compliment from a guy in New Hampshire and both these very tradition-rich programs,
Right.
You don't take that with a grain of salt. That's a great compliment for Evan. And he's a good kid, works very, very hard.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Has he committed? I know it was
he's still looking.
in Southern Maine, URI in Maine,
Yeah,
and maybe Central Connecticut.
Yeah, we did our initial signing day. He was not part of it.
Okay.
Because he's still trying to figure out where he's
Yep.
going to end up going. Also a good student.
Yes.
Very involved with his church, very involved in our community, and hence the Gatorade Player of the Year for him.
Yeah. No, and Brendan was telling me about some of the Brendan McGear,
Yeah.
sports writer, was telling me about some of the offers that he's going back and forth with. Matter of fact, even in the Thanksgiving game, he was played defense for a couple of plays because I think one of the schools was interested in him as a possible defensive back.
Yeah,
as
well, I think that was part of the game plan too. When we
Was
played
it?
down at Hendricken, Coach Lima schemed up, and he had a lot of the offensive guys playing defense and putting
Yes.
Spencer linebacker.
Okay.
He stuck him right in the middle.
Yeah, you got to put your best players on the field, right?
Right, right.
And especially when you're going up against Hendricken or LaSalle, it's like, hey, and he's a big kid.
Yeah, he's a big, strong kid. And we finished fourth in our division. We're very happy about that. The three teams we finished behind were all great programs as well.
Right.
And the teams we finished in front of, like North Kingston, Portsmouth, Burrillville, all very tradition-rich football programs. So
Yes.
they were kind of right behind us. But again, not trying to figure out the RPI. It's kind of like I go to that movie The Accountant when he has all that math up on the walls.
Right. It's like the
fifth.
the election, right? It's like, what
exactly.
states do I need to get in? And I'm sure that'll trickle down. You'll see these other programs start to go like, well, maybe we won't play these guys this year because,
Right.
it's and even up in Mass, you see it all the time. You're seeing these Division I teams playing against the Division III because they're a split conference, and it's like it does us no good to play them. But if we don't play well, it only helps them. It doesn't help us. So
Well, the beauty too of the whole scheduling process is that if you have a weak team, or you have a strong team, you can kind of choose your schedule.
Yeah.
And we chose 50% of our schedule in football. The league gave us half our schedule. You could play up to 8 games. We played the 8th game. You need 7 to be tournament eligible, but we played that 8th game. And so when you know what you have or what you got coming back or depending, to be competitive as well. And our coaching staff did a nice job with that.
Oh, that's great. That's great. It's it was fun doing the games. Fun covering Evan Spencer the last few years as well. But let's just get right into this as well. For starters, tell us, we got the 51st annual Northern Rhode Island Boys and Girls Club Holiday Classic. It's something to do with the road show too. And
Yeah,
that's
they
like
call
their
it some-
alumni group or something. I'm like,
Yeah, that's what it is. So
Okay.
it's the Boys and Girls Club Holiday Road Show, and the Road
Okay.
Show is the alumni who played in this. Jim Carney is a big one with the alumni,
Okay.
Former graduate, and it's the longest running boys basketball tournament in the state of Rhode Island. Last year we had 50 consecutive years. We missed the COVID year, obviously, but it's the longest running tournament. Last year we had luminaries, the 4 mayors, Mayor Mutter, Mayor Beauchamp, Mayor Grebian, and Town Administrator Gouldall came in. Governor McKee was there, who actually played in this tournament in the late 60s as a ball player at Cumberland High School. But it's a great tradition. It's 4 local teams. Initially it was 8 teams. It was Cumberland, Lincoln, Woonsocket, Tolman. St. Ray's was in it initially, Central Falls, Shea, and the former RIL member, Mount St. Charles, was in at one point. I know PCD was in at one
Oh, no
point.
kidding.
But for the most part, it's been Cumberland, Lincoln, Woonsocket, and Tolman for the majority of the last 10, 15 years.
Kind of an off-script question, put you on the spot. Do you think Tolman, when they combine into one Pawtucket High School, would continue to be in this tournament?
I would-
that's 5 or 6 years from now, anyway. But
I would assume so. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't be. Coach Campo Piano, the athletic director there.
Yeah.
Same thing. He wants to challenge his kids. He wants them playing at the highest level. So,
Yeah.
and it's a well-run tournament. Brian Andrade, the head of the Boys and Girls Club, who runs all their athletics. They soup to nuts. They do a nice job. Last year, all the guys get hats with the 50th anniversary on it, and so It's just it's a good collaborative partnership we have with the Boys and Girls Club.
Great.
A lot of our kids, either in Cumberland or Lincoln, have come out of playing at the Boys and Girls Club, as well as Pawtucket, or even Woonsocket for that matter.
Right. No, it's in just really quick to speak about Tolman. I mean, they may even combine their basketball teams maybe sooner rather than later. They've combined in some sports, obviously not in football, not in basketball yet, but I guess they could combine at any point.
Co-op. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Co-op numbers are determined by how many returners you have.
Okay.
So their girls program, Pawtucket, Bunky Gonzalez is the coach there with Johnny Lickert. Each program did not have the required numbers to sustain their own program.
Okay.
And girls basketball, I think if you have less than, I want to say 10 returning.
Okay.
Same thing in hockey. If you have less than 15 returning, you can co-op. If you have 15 returning, you can't co-op. And the numbers are still good for Shea and Tolman boys basketball.
Yep.
Football might be a different story.
Football, yeah.
You know,
Shea struggled this year. They actually had a forfeited game, but then they came back and won a few at the end of the season. So that was
it was more of a safety. I think it was more of a
Injuries.
safety issue.
Yeah, they hit a number plateau. They wanted
Yeah.
to make sure that their guys stayed healthy.
You got to keep them healthy, right?
Absolutely. So, so have the games, going to be played at the Athletic Center on the campus of Cumberland High School? Have all the games been at Cumberland High School?
I believe so. They were in the old gymnasium, which I miss to a point. It was a great high school gym. One side, teams were on one side, the big bleachers on the other side. And yeah, and then we have the facility to host it. We'll bring on. You'll see, we'll have all the bleachers out. Eight sides. We have 4 bleachers on one, 4 on the other. It's a great atmosphere. It's a good time of the year too because teams look for holiday tournaments. But the different thing now is their league games, and this goes back into the RPI. So
Right.
it's no longer like a non-league game, depending on Division 1 or 2. We got a big crowd, and of course the opener on opening night is when Woonsocket will play Tolman in the 6:00 game, and at 7:45 we play Lincoln, crosstown rival. I guess if you would not crosstown next door neighbor rival,
Right.
Right.
if you will, and Greg O'Connor, the athletic director at Lincoln, and his boys basketball program, as we know, having watched them play last year.
They go 26-1 last year.
Yeah, they were good. I mean, Wayne McNamara is probably one of the greatest players, a generational player that you've seen come out of this area. He was that good.
Yeah, we're excited to do this tournament. Marty Crowley, the athletic director from Cumberland High School, joining us here in the cheap seats. Be able to. Now, you had mentioned that this tournament has been broadcast in the past.
Well, not the tournament, but ON has done high school basketball in the past. My friend growing up and former Woonsocket athletic director George Nasuti and I did a game up at Rickway when Woonsocket played Mounts in a division title game, and Brooke Codier length-to-length layup, won it for Woonsocket, and it was such a amazing game because 2 local schools were doing it. And sidebar to George Nasuti, as we all know, George had passed away a few years ago. The new elementary school in Woonsocket, which is going to go right over here at Barry Field.
Right.
It's a great honor, going to be named after George because he was the principal of 2 of those schools, and he gave so much to the youth of Woonsocket as a coach and as an educator. And so it's a great honor for George and his family to name that middle school after him.
And we were told during the Thanksgiving game that they were going to break ground the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I don't know if it did or not, but in the back corner, I guess, of the north end zone.
Yeah, it's going to go up in this. Yeah, I'm pointing. Right,
you're pointing. You see everyone, Marty.
Yeah.
But you're pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm pointing in the right direction. It's going to go in that back corner. It's a good thing. It's a good move by the city.
Yeah.
Combine the schools, and then it's just it's a good fitting honor for George, who coached a multitude of games up there. He coached a multitude of sports here in Woonsocket, was the athletic director, and as I said, principal. So yeah, Sudi and I did a couple games for a long time ago. It's been a while since someone's done basketball, but being an athletic director or a local fan, it's good that local radio still goes out, and I appreciate you guys doing football and Thanksgiving Day and everything. You having done it for a minute with you guys, it's good for parents and relatives out of town or anybody to jump on. There's not a lot of people left doing local.
Right.
It's not.
Your PA announcer for Cumberland football, his name eludes me, but his parents live in Texas, and we were always giving shout outs to him.
Oh yeah, Mr. Walkowski, great guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they were our number 1 fans in Texas for sure.
Yeah.
So for the holiday tournament, so at the very least, it would be the first time we're broadcasting on a TV, like it'll be on the Woonsocketradio.com. So Pat and I will have to look good if the cameras ever switch towards us. So with the season just underway, it's very early, 2-3 games into the season. Quick look, Tolman, and you can agree or disagree, Tolman may be the favorite this year. They've already won the Donaldson Lynch Memorial Tournament, a tournament that featured them, Shea, St. Ray's, and Central Falls. They're 2-1 on the season. They do have 7 championships in this tournament. Cumberland's the all-time leader in this tournament with 10 championships. They're off to a 1-2 start. Lincoln's the defending 2-time champion. They have 8 overall championships. They're also 1-2 to open the season. And Woonsocket, second to only Cumberland with 9 championships overall. They've opened the season 0-3. They did drop to Division II this year. However, they played very tough against Burrillville the other night, only losing by a couple of points. So with this 2-day tournament, is this used as like a springboard to jumpstart their season?
Yeah, it's so early. You're still trying to figure out what you're doing.
The rotations and
from the
everything.
time, as your daughter plays basketball, that it's just the first week is trying to figure out who's going to fit where. Do I go big? Do I go 3 forwards? Do I go 3 guards? How many sets do you have in at this point in time when you're still working on skills and conditioning? And but it's a good opportunity to play back-to-back days, see where you're at. And then before you get into the crux of your season, it just gives you the opportunity to maybe try different rotations. But now all these games matter.
Right.
So now it kind of takes that off the table. But, guys who, have been practicing well, but you can't replicate game competition in practice no matter how much you try.
You think you can, even intra-squads.
Yeah, intra-squads. You try to split them in your guards, but then there's no continuity or, small group work, small drill work is pretty effective as well, that we always used to do a lot of that. But irregardless, it's just see where you're at. 4 high quality programs. We're looking for an exciting tournament.
Now, would you say the RPI formula for the playoffs is it similar to football? And if so, the fact that Woonsocket be in D2 with the other 3 teams being in D1, will that hurt anything to the other 3 teams should they lose to Woonsocket?
No, I don't think so. I think, you play 1 or 2 games down a division. I don't think it does. If you're playing half your schedule lower division, it definitely might skew you a little bit. But 1 game here or there doesn't. Like, in girls soccer, there was a Division II team that I believe played us and North Kingston, had a 500 record and was the number 2 seed because you played the top 2 seeds in Division I. Whereas you play down 1 game, it's not going to affect you that much.
Okay. All right. And last year, I was reading in Valley Breeze, you guys had an article, you had championship rings.
Yeah, that's
last
all.
year?
That's all the Boys and Girls Club. That's what they did. They gave them rings. They were pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. And Lincoln ended up getting those, so they did a nice job with those.
Was that a one-time only for the 50th, or should I ask Mr. Andrade when I see him?
Yeah, I have to ask Brian. You have
Okay.
to ask Brian when you see him on Friday. At the
Okay.
Wellness Center.
So, and a little bit about Cumberland. I think you don't exactly have a layup game before the tournament. You guys are playing LaSalle, who's 3-0 tomorrow afternoon at LaSalle. LaSalle did play Thursday. They're playing today. So when they play you tomorrow, the 3 games in 4 days, maybe they'll be a little bit tired, but do high school kids get tired?
Right. Yeah. Well, again, you're still trying to get your legs this early. So,
Right.
Game competition. How deep is your bench? Again, it goes to rotations, and this early on where you may play. Obviously early in the season, your bench is a little longer, right? Because you're gonna, because you'll play guys to get guys rest, but coming to crunch time, your bench playoffs, your bench gets shorter, and minutes become scarce because you're gonna go with your iron to get through that. We're excited about the opportunity to play LaSalle tomorrow. Coach Tyler Calabro, a first-year coach for us in Cumberland, took over from longtime coach Gary Reedy, who had been coaching everywhere. He started at Mount Junior High, and he'd been at Cumberland for a long time. Ironically, he's helping out his son, who's our middle school coach. Gary just won't go
Can't
away.
stay away. That's what
Great guy. But Ty Calabro was a 3-sport athlete at the high school. Was in education. Was our JV coach for 4 years. We're very proud to have Cal as our head coach right now, and he's doing a good job with our young guys. As we've graduated, same thing, 2 kind of big classes walking out the door, but Had a nice win the other night against Johnston, and still early trying to feel your legs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, ticket sales. Are you? I know a lot of games in Massachusetts are online now. Do you know if they'll be?
No, I think everything's still at the door.
At the door.
Yeah,
Oh,
the Boys
good.
and Girls Club runs everything. They run the
So they
gates,
run
so
everything.
everything's at the door.
Good.
I don't believe they're pre-purchased tickets, but big facility.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something to do, catch some great 4 great high school basketball programs in one area. Please come down, and if not, make sure you listen on ONAM and FM, and jump on the Facebook channel. And if you're out of town, and watch the guys broadcast.
No, really looking forward to it. Want to thank you, Dave, and my brother Joe. Putting this together, and I know Pat and Dave met with you yesterday to go over the logistics. So the press box will be done that you're building for us.
Yeah, just like an ad, we're gonna build that shelf up for you. We're
exactly.
gonna have it heated.
I think you said whatever you need.
Whatever you need. So no, that'd be great.
No, we're very grateful for the fact that you guys are coming out to broadcast the best in educational-based athletics again. And that's what we are, and promote sportsmanship, camaraderie, and some good rivalry games, and some hopefully some good basketball.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's gonna be some great basketball, and like I said, Pat and I had a little bit of a warm up last night to a game.
It's good for the kids too, right? These
100%.
guys get done, they can go back, watch it, or
Yep.
hey, if you can't make it, tell their buddies and their family. I mean, that's cool to know that you're going to be on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We
Radio.
Yep.
And with the way everyone's traveling around, you got Aunt Mary and Uncle Peter out in Arizona, and they can tune in as well. It's great. We're very thankful to be doing the game. I mean, we're right the bread and butter. Woonsocket, Lincoln, Cumberland, and then Tolman's in the listening area as well. So. Marty, thank you so much, for coming in. Really appreciate you taking time out on a Saturday. Hopefully, we get a few words in with you sometime during the tournament. Are you there?
I will be there both days.
All weekend doing some crowd control and things like that. So.
Yeah, and actually, we have a girls game. Cumberland Woonsocket girls are playing that the 27th at 2. So we have a little 12 and 2. We have a little girls action prior to our women's programs are playing each other, and then
Great.
We'll clear the gym and everything all set up for the night for the guys. So happy holidays to all. Happy holidays, guys. I appreciate you guys. And I enjoy listening to you guys on Saturday mornings. And
you've called in a few times. This is, I think, your third time or at least second time in the studio for the show.
Anything to do support.
We appreciate it.
We really appreciate it.
I just got to end as I always do. As always, go blue.
Go blue. And I feel that way in Massachusetts with Attleboro, too. So.
Same blue.
So Marty Crowley, the athletic director from Cumberland High School, for joining us. I want to thank you again, Marty, for joining us in the cheap seats. When we come back, Pat and I will be jumping into some local sports. And so far, I haven't brought up the 4-team Rhode Island college basketball tournament. I promised Pat I wouldn't again this year. So
Outside of the one we just talked about.
Exactly. I
don't want to hear about
we
it.
can talk high school basketball tournaments. We won't talk college basketball tournament. So when we come back, Pat and I will jump into some Sox, maybe some NBA, Patriots, Bruins. We'll have at it. All right. We'll be back right after these messages.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, ON is always on.
They can diagnose and repair just about anything at State Line Service. From tires and alignments and front-end work on all makes of cars and trucks up to 1 ton to smaller items like brakes, starters, struts, exhausts, radiators, timing belts, and high-speed balance. State Line Service is a third-generation family-owned business, up to date with the latest technology. They believe in clear, honest communication with their clients. No double talk, no pressure. State Line Service, 1209 Social Street, Woonsocket, at the State Line. State Line Service.
At North Smithfield Urgent Care and Lincoln Urgent Care, you'll always be seen by a board-certified physician who'll diagnose your minor illness or injury. Their services include treatment for flu, fractures, rashes, ITU infections, and work-related injuries, plus physicals, vaccinations, and drug screening. North Smithfield Urgent Care, Great Road, North Smithfield, and Lincoln Urgent Care, Wake Robin Road, Lincoln. X-ray and lab on premises. When you install a garage door, don't forget the safety factor. Woonsocket Door Sales suggests you visit their website at woonsocketdoorsales.com and read about all the new technology available to make your garage and your home safe. In addition to your vehicles, your garage may store valuable tools and equipment. It may also have access to your home. Their website also features a variety of designs and comments about satisfied customers. Woonsocket Door Sales in Cumberland, 767-3448. They install, repair, and service all types of garage doors for commercial and residential.
Automobile construction and design continues to change, so it's important that auto body shops remain current and certified in aluminum repair and able to reproduce the entire color spectrum. Michaud's Auto Body is a certified Class A auto shop staying current with the new technology. The use of aluminum in construction has made vehicles lighter, and many of the new metallic paints require the tri-coat process, 3 layers to get the perfect match. Michaud's Auto Body, a second-generation family business, 430 Privilege Street, Woonsocket, 769-1983.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. Thanks again to Marty Crowley for joining us in the first segment of the show. We transition away from high school basketball, and let's jump into some Red Sox news. First, I also want to thank Nate Tellier. I see, Pat, you're wearing the Savannah Bananas hat.
Actually, the hat came in hours after.
Of course it did.
And then I did get it's a Nate Tellier Greenville Drive card, which was about a week later.
So you couldn't even get it autographed.
We'll reach out to Nate before he gets on the road and see if he can do something for me.
So when he becomes the lead banana,
that's right,
in the future, though he is on the Party Animals. But thanks again to Nate for coming in.
Yeah.
Last week that was fun show with him, and we'll go a little off script here because he brought up a rule that I like. The more I think about it, the pass ball wild pitch with no matter where you are in the count, you can steal first base, and at first
a drop third.
Yeah,
right.
It's like a drop third strike. I like it. It counts 1-1. They uncork a wild pitch.
Why not?
You make the baseball move towards
as long as you
leave the box.
Yeah.
You're fair game. You like it?
I do like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to incorporate catching the ball in the crowd as a real out.
Right, no. Right.
But I'm talking like for the game of MLB, I think I could get behind this rule.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that when I was driving home, and it's not. I like that rule better than the golden bat rule that they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
The golden bat rule there's just too much involved.
You got to alter the line. Yeah, you got to change the lineup.
So to have it be like on a pass ball, yeah. I mean, if it's everyone can base runners can move up on their own.
Yeah, base runners
at their own,
at their own risk.
Yeah, so same thing with the batter, right? Maybe as long as first base isn't occupied, or I guess
I think it would have to be kind of like the drop third strike.
Yeah,
with 2 outs.
With 2 outs,
maybe you can go.
2 outs, you can go
altered,
right? Yeah, but
the drop third,
but without less than 2 outs with a runner on first, you can't.
So it might be modified. Shouldn't with 2 outs. You shouldn't have to move the guy from first.
Right.
Shouldn't have to go to second.
Correct.
So as long as first base is open, you can take it. And there is strategy.
And as long as you make a move, then you're at risk to be thrown out or.
I think Nate said out of the box. But I wonder if it could be as simple as you make a baseball move, like when you overrun first, you make a baseball move to second, you're fair game.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I mean, obviously all the other ones are a little bit
silly.
They're a little silly.
Never go through.
In the a walk is you have each all 9 players have to touch the ball before.
Right.
So
yeah, that.
But
I don't.
that drop. That, or I guess the pass ball it makes sense.
So interested. So so let's go back to last week with the Savannah Bananas. Excuse me, in the Party Animals. Red Sox did make a little bit of news. Patrick Sandoval, 2 years, $18.25 million. Another player coming off Tommy John surgery.
I feel like, are they cornering the market on all these? I mean, every pitcher that they've signed in the last 3 years, it's like, well, he's coming off of Tommy John surgery. He's coming off of Tommy John surgery. It's like,
some of them are their oown guys that they lost, heard that they had Tommy John surgery, and they brought him back. They're in the minor league system. He's not going to be available till mid-season. Lots of upside to him from his past, but he hasn't been affected the last couple of years. And then he had Tommy John. I guess 18.25. I guess he's going to get $5 million this year, which is a bit of a raise. Then he's going to go get what's the equivalent, $9 to $10 million next year. Actually, it'd be closer to 15, I don't know, 13 million, whatever it comes to get to 18.25.
Right.
Next year, assuming he's healthy all year, I guess it's a low risk, kind of like Chapman. It's like a 10-year low risk, big gain. But
I guess.
Is it a stopgap though?
I would have liked to have seen them sign like a Burnson.
Corbin Burns. Corbin
Burns.
Burns is not the actor.
Yes.
But Corbin Burns, the pitcher.
Every time I say that, I think of
But now, I wouldn't be surprised if they signed Corbin Burns.
I'd rather have had them sign him.
Right.
Before they went out and started making these like, well, he's Tommy John. It's it's a.
I don't know.
Low risk, high reward, or I don't know.
Now I did read something interesting in the paper. An executive, obviously an unnamed executive, has said about Craig Breslow that he's persistent. He's been the most aggressive of all the general managers in the winter meetings, in the off season in general. So it's good to hear that he's persistent, he's resilient, everything's on the table. I also heard that Seattle turned down a one-for-one trade of Tristan Casas for, I think, Wu, the pitcher that had 22 starts and a 2.89 ERA. I don't know if the Red Sox needed to add somebody else or if the Red Sox needed to ask for another pitcher instead. Not sure where they're at with that. The Bregman, we talked about Bregman back in September. That's been linked to the Sox again. Alex Bregman, the Houston third baseman.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if he signs, what do you do with Devers, and then what do you do with Casas? It's a nice problem to have. Do you move Bregman to short and you move Story to second? But all this hasn't happened yet. So
ultimately, if
right,
he's going to get graded on what he actually does and not what he tried to do.
Yeah, I'm not going to grade him on his resilience.
So I mean, it's great. It's great. I mean, you could talk about signing all these top players, but if you don't sign them, it's just talk.
Yeah, I give him credit for I guess working 18-hour days, but we do have a phone call coming in right now. Let's
imagine who this might be.
If we have our guesses. Hello, you're on the air.
Good morning, boys. Good morning.
Hey, Moose, how are ya?
All right, how you doing, Kevin, Pat?
Hey, Moose.
Doing pretty good. I'll tell you, I wasn't too happy with that PC loss last night, Moose.
Well, you know what? I don't know if you got my latest email. I sent it this morning. Is Hopkins hurt again, Kevin?
Yeah, I think he's day-to-day right now. I'm not sure what happened. I know he was there, and I tried looking it up when I heard he wasn't playing, and I couldn't find any definitive information. And he didn't play in the game against St. Bonaventure last week either. So now I'm worried. Did they rush him back too soon?
Yes. Yeah. It's that 2 games in a row where he hasn't played one minute.
Right.
Was he dressed, Kevin? Was he dressed?
No, he wasn't even dressed last night. He was on the sidelines, but he wasn't dressed either. So it's so I'm not sure what's up with him. I mean, they might just be holding out now until what we say their next game was December 30th. Now is that their?
I believe so. Yeah.
So they might be waiting another 9 days now.
Marquette maybe. Marquette could be next.
Yeah, PC and URI are both off until I think December 30th now. New Year's Eve, actually. So they might just be giving them another 10 days off. But what a shame. I mean, St. John's, we touched on it briefly, Moose. PC, 17 turnovers last night. And St. John's was trying to give them the game with shooting 42% from the line last night. 11 for 26.
It's foul shooting is a lost art.
It doesn't make the ESPN
they
highlights.
They blew the game. My goodness, they had a 16-point lead. Then they had a 13-point lead at the half.
Right.
Now, I didn't catch the entire game, but I caught all the highlights this morning, and I got a good 10 minutes of the last of the game, and it just kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
I mean, then this flagrant foul.
Oh, and I think I was watching it on DVR, and the flagrant foul. Then that takes 7 minutes to review. So I was fast forwarding through the whole explanation of that.
The point of it is that was a terrible time for that to happen.
Oh, absolutely, though. That
kind of cost them the game. That was a pivotal point of the game.
Right.
But nonetheless, no excuses. They had a big lead. They blew it.
They blew the big lead. Pitino's a good coach. St. John's, the number 22 in the country. So that would have been a huge win for Providence College. They wouldn't have dropped.
These close games, Kev. They're losing these close
They're
games.
losing the close ones, and now
so good.
they're 7-6.
Yeah.
And I hate to be nervous of making the NCAA tournament in December, but the Big
it's a
East,
long way to go.
Big East is down this year. When you look at, UConn's down, they were down to 25 after blowing
Not
those
anymore.
games in Hawaii, and
Well, they did beat Green Bay, so we got that. And did you see we came out this week with?
Nonetheless, no, I'm not really overly that concerned right now because there's still much of a part of the season to go, including the Big East tournament and such like that. But what alarms me a little bit is not winning these close games. You've got to win close games. That's a sign. That's a sign of the winner. Of course, the sign of a champion.
Right.
If you don't, it's a sign that you crack when the pressure's on.
Yeah,
That's the way I look at it.
I think it's a sign of the leadership.
Yes, the coach is in there.
Right.
Coach has got to be in there. He's partly to blame. He calls those plays in the last minute or two of the game, and he directs certain plays. So yes, there's a lot to that.
I do.
But anyway, that's right to touch upon. Red Sox, we still got a lot of work to do there, but that's all right. They're working. I don't even know who this Patrick Sandoval is.
I hadn't heard of him. I guess he had a good year back in 22, where he had a 2.95 ERA, and then he steadily got worse. And then, like all the other signings, is coming off some sort of Tommy John surgery, of course. So we'll see him around the All-Star break.
First time I heard Sandoval, I said, "Whoa, is that Pablo?"
Is the big panda coming
Big
back?
Panda, I'm like, no, I hope
I think we're still paying him anyway.
I know. Yeah.
He's the Kirk Cousins of baseball.
Yeah.
So Cousins is going to be that. But anyway, listen, guys, thanks for your time. We'll 2 good games today, guys. 2 good games.
Yes. Yeah, good college football games coming up today.
I mean pro games.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The NFL's back on Saturdays today.
Yeah, KC, Houston, Pitt, and Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Yeah, and supposedly Mahomes is going to play.
Mahomes
Why.
is playing. They're still fighting for first overall, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah. NFL's back on Saturdays, and if you have Netflix, Moose, you can watch the NFL on Christmas.
Yeah, we usually are with the family, and we're out and about. There's not too much TV going on because everybody's there. There's 13, 14 people there, and we notice it's on watch TV.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Well, happy holidays, Moose.
Moose, have a great Christmas, and we'll be talking.
Same to you. You bet.
Thank you.
Keep up with your show.
All right.
And your family as well. Very, very Merry Christmas. You guys got a good show. Keep it up.
Oh, thanks, you.
Moose.
Appreciate it, Moose. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, I forgot to hold up the mug for the
Moose.
The moose. Don't moose with us, Moose. So, not quite sure what that means, but it's a funny mug that my son got for me. So it's thought it worked pretty good. So it's
the most wonderful time of the year.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So we got little hot stove, little junior hockey
World
championships
coming up.
Yeah, Bruins. Little segue into the Bruins.
Yeah, before our next break. A 2-3 road trip. Last week, I was calling for Joe Sacco's head at this point. I think right at this point at 9:44.
Yeah, right.
They got drubbed by Winnipeg 8-1, Seattle 5-1. Then, just to mess with us, they played their best game of the season against Vancouver and went 5-1, where they were firing on all cylinders. They were incredible. The strong comeback against Calgary, where they trailed 3-1 in the third period. They win in overtime on a Pasternak goal. That game saw him have 1 goal and 3 assists. You're starting to feel good. They're up 2-0 against Edmonton on Thursday. Like, hey, they're gonna go 3-2, and then the legs just stop skating. A soft goal by Swayman.
That was a tough goal. I wouldn't necessarily say soft.
One of the goals was soft.
The first goal was soft. The second, I mean, and then you get into overtime with Edmonton, and it's
Connor McDavid time, and
you give that much space, and unless you're going to control the puck the whole overtime, forget it.
Draisaitl, McDavid, just too much ice.
Yeah, I'll take the point. I mean, I haven't been following the Blues, but they've hit rock bottom now too. They've lost 6 out of the last 8.
Okay,
I believe.
So Montgomery isn't coaching being the regular season.
I should
genius.
probably confirm that. I shouldn't look at everything.
But the interesting is, and Moose had brought up Linus Ullmark in the past with Swayman. For those of you that like to play that game, Linus Ullmark in his last 7 games is 7-0 with, I think, 3 shutouts now, at least 2 goals against average below 1. All of a sudden, the Ottawa Senators are good. And however, Linus Ullmark did win a Vezina. He is known as a regular season goalie, strong in October, November, and December. Swayman was a kind of a slower starter, living up to that. The one thing that sometimes the talking heads, up north talk about, and I agree with them on this, it's that Edmonton game is the type of game that you want to see Swayman steal a game and win it for the Bruins. He hasn't stolen that game. That's a game that if you leave it up to Swayman, so he's giving up a soft goal.
I would agree.
And what do they say in hockey? Let's do that hockey.
Right.
The third goal is the most important. Bruins are up 2-0. Boom, third goal of the game. Edmonton, soft goal, 2-1. Who's got all the momentum? Here comes Edmonton. Then they win in overtime. When we come back, we've got some more hockey talk. I know Pat and I want to touch on the World Juniors. If you don't know what it is, we're going to let you know all about it. And some thoughts on the NBA, which we don't get into too often as well. So thank you for joining us in the cheap seats. When we come back, we'll get into that and much more. If you like to call in, feel free at 401-766-1240. We would love to hear from you. We'll be back right after these messages.
Join the Coffee and Panel weekday mornings at 8 on ON Radio.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasca Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasca Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TascaBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasca Buick GMC, you will be satisfied. Looking to beautify your property this fall? Look to A.J. Moran for stonework patios, steps, walkways, plus retaining walls. Looking to beautify your home this fall? A.J. Moran can put veneer stone right on your house to have beautiful looking stone. And if that's not what you want, A.J. Moran can rebuild indoor fireplaces with veneer stone. It's real natural stone. Check out what they can do online, ajmoraninc.com. A.J. Moran.
If you're celebrating a major event, regardless of the reason, Michael's Meats of Cumberland can elevate your next meal from ordinary to extraordinary with meats so good your guests will ask you where you got them. Tell them Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is in the Walgreens parking lot on Mendon Road in Cumberland, just north of the Ciabro Plaza. They're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m., making your next meal truly special. Here's this week's specials at Michael's Meats.
In this week special at Michael's Meats, we have fresh ground lean ground pork for just $3.69 a pound at Michael's Meats, taking Christmas orders now through, I would imagine, Christmas. Oh, at least Christmas Eve. Exactly. Welcome back to the cheap seats. We are joined on the phone line from Greg from Connecticut. And Greg, are you there?
I'm here. Hey, happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays as well to you, Greg, and thanks for calling in. What's going on? You psyched about the Jets' victory last week? Is that why we're calling?
I don't know. I think you should talk about football during the actual football season. You know, I mean...
Yeah, right. And that's September for you, right?
Yeah, that's September for the Jets.
Or I guess for us.
Yeah, during the 2-week football season.
Yeah, 2 weeks. So, what do you think? Is your boy Rodgers going to be back next year?
I kind of hope not. You know, I think he should just ride off in the sunset. Maybe he and Favre should just be, golfing together.
Yeah, have you seen this Netflix documentary that he's in? I think it's called The Enigma.
I have not, and I don't intend to.
I haven't watched it, but I mean, this guy is like a crackerjack. I mean, he looks like a Fruit Loop.
He is. I think his helmet is made out of aluminum foil.
I read something about this series. He sounds like the Beatles in the mid to late '60s when they started experimenting with things, going off of the Mojave or whatever.
Yeah, it is. It's
That's
crazy.
right. He went from I want to hold your hand to whacked out music.
Exactly, Sergeant Pepper's. That's Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers.
I mean, you remember when Tom Brady went on his little kick, right? Of all this crazy, stretching and, diet and all this stuff, and how crazy people thought he was.
Right.
Like, Aaron Rodgers, it's like times 1,000.
Yeah.
It's like, how many is you beat that? Tom Brady who?
Yeah, but
I'm in the
but in terms
woods.
of performance, it's divided by 1,000,000.
Well, true.
Right.
Yeah. He's like, I'm in the middle of the woods in Fiji
Right.
with this, obscure tribe.
Yeah.
Finding myself. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you, Greg. I don't know if I want to watch an Aaron Rodgers documentary.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Jets maybe challenge Woonsocket High and see if they can win a game.
Yeah.
Well, Socket was playing decent at the end of the year, You may not want that.
No, true.
So, anything else, Greg? Is still room for the Whalers to come back?
Yeah, I'd love the Whalers to come back. I shout out to my kids went to Indiana University. I know they got their kind of tails whooped by Notre Dame last night, but their school had never even had a winning record for a long time, and so we were pretty excited about that.
No, I bet, and I'm not the biggest college football fan around, but I am excited about the playoff system that they're finally instituting. I think eventually they're going to go to 16 teams, especially when they with the addition of the Ivy League getting an automatic bid starting next year. I think just going from 12 to 16, stop it there. Start with a Sweet 16. I think that's going to be the way to go in college football.
I'm not a huge college football fan either, but the fact that it seems like any team could win is kind of exciting.
Yeah,
exactly, and that's what everyone loves about the college basketball tournament with the 64 or 68 teams, however you want to do it.
98.
But get the brackets going. Yeah, I hope the basketball tournament doesn't expand to 98.
Oh, it's gonna start in February soon.
Exactly. So, no, I think it's exciting. I think there's 4 college football games.
Yeah, at least
today. I mean, that's regular bowls and playoffs.
Honestly, I think Indiana got the shaft. I think they should have hosted a game. Regardless, I mean, it is what it is. But the one thing I do know is Indiana is a phenomenal school for music. So if you're a music performance major, you should consider going to Indiana. But hopefully the football team's back on the map. So.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Greg, anything else?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of your show. I tune in when I can. Every couple of weeks I manage to tune in and really enjoy listening to you guys. And just wish you a happy holidays, happy New Year, and I'll be listening next year as well.
All right. No, thanks, Greg. Very much appreciated. Happy holidays to you and New Year as well. We appreciate you listening, your listenership, if you will. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Feeling the love from the callers today.
Which is
good.
Gotta love the holiday season. Wish every week was the holiday season. We'd be feeling the love. Back to the Bruins. We talked about the Bruins prior to Greg calling. 10 possible points were on the board for the 5-game road trip, and the Bruins picked up 5. They're currently in 3rd place in their division, which qualifies them for the playoffs. But the league, with the exception of the New Jersey Devils, all have minimum 1 to 3 games in hand on them. Top 3 from each division get in. 2 more teams from the conference with the best record for a total of 8. So it could be 5 from one division and 3 from the other. Based on the conference record, the Bruins are 7th overall. So I am thinking they'll get in. But as I mentioned to you before the show, the eyeball test, there's something still off about them. When you see how good what they can do against Vancouver, I start to get excited, and then I think back to the collapse against Edmonton, and I think back to that how they started the 5-game road trip. They are home to Buffalo today at 7. See if any home
Buffalo's lost like 8 in a row. So
right. So
these are the games you have to win. You don't want to come out and lay a dud. You treat it as a road game. They probably came home yesterday afternoon. So no practice. They'll probably do a little quick morning skate. And get out there. So, but these are the games you have to win. And yeah, they got to start putting some streaks together. Not leaving points on the table.
Right. That's the thing. The Edmonton game, they left a point.
I haven't heard anything about Lindholm coming back. I mean, he's He's been
Hampus
out.
Lindholm?
Yeah, he's been out for a while.
Yeah,
so
I haven't heard.
I mean, it's a combination of everything. I think the little lack of depth in the score on the front end, right? Charlie Coyle still playing pretty tight. He's made. I mean, obviously he's a great face-off guy.
They were doing well in face-offs the other night as well. I saw that.
And then on the back end, you still have some immaturity in Lowry back there, maybe taking a bad penalty or just out of position. And
this is what I mean by like the eyeball test too.
Yeah.
You're just watching them and just something is off. Like something it's like they're not crisp. They're not working together as a team as much as I'd hope. And then you see the glimpses and.
Yeah, they just, especially on the back end,
right?
And I think, as everyone says, right? I mean, your goalie's only as good as the defense in front of them. I think they've struggled a little on the back end. Zadorov hasn't been, I think, what we expected him to be.
He's been big, but he's been, I think, slower.
He's big. He's big. He's out of position a lot.
Right.
I think.
He's also taken some dumb penalties as well, and I think and this is off the top of my head, I think he only has 2 goals. Again, defense not known as, they're not all Bobby Orr.
He's taken less bad penalties, but at the beginning of the season, it was like he was like going out of his way to get penalties. But
they have an opportunity. They got 3 of the next 4 games are at home. We got the Sabres today at 7. On Monday, they do have the Capitals at 7:00 at home. Then off for Christmas 3 days. They come back. Looks like for a home and home against the Blue Jackets on the road Friday, but then next Saturday at home against the Columbus Blue Jackets. 3 of the next 4 at home, winnable games. As you mentioned, they're in 3rd place. They're in 7th in the conference. So again, another big week for the Bruins. Maybe. I have a feeling having the same conversation next week, though. I feel like another week of inconsistency might be coming up.
Yeah, I mean they're playing a little bit better brand, especially on the power play. Started to connect a little bit on the road, so if they can get that going, I mean that's ultimately
they've been better.
Yeah,
I just
but you're right.
Expectations are...
Swayman. I mean, you're not getting those games where it's like, hey, they didn't play well and he won the game for them.
Right.
It's like they didn't play well. And he let in a weak goal, or 2, or whatever the case may be. But
you can't give up the soft ones because
they're in the mix. They're in the mix.
They're in the mix.
I mean,
and you get a hot goalie. Yeah. Was it John Casey of the Minnesota North Stars? I think many years ago was an 8 seed that rode it all. Barely a 500 team rode it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. They did all.
That's what's great about hockey.
Yeah. So
it doesn't even matter. You get in, and I think more often than not the wild card teams have made their. I think Dallas might have been a wild card team last
when the
year.
Bruins won the Cup in 11, it wasn't Bergeron Marchand. It was Tim Thomas.
Yeah.
But it's a hot goalie. But in the limited time, we do want to touch on this. I think we're going to go into more detail. Well, next week anyway. The World Juniors NHL Network. If you don't know what it is. It's an under-20 tournament. You do have the occasional NHL player that's 20 years. Matt Potras last year from the Bruins was sent to Canada to play with them. You do get the occasional NHL, some AHL players, ton of college hockey players. Think 1980 Olympic hockey team. This is what you're getting. Under 20, those not familiar. The teams are from Sweden, Slovakia, Germany, Switzerland, Czechia, Canada, Finland, and of course, the United States. Games this year are in Ottawa, which is our time zone, which is great. There's going to be 2 to 4 games every single day, starting roughly at noon when there's 4 games, from December 26th to the 31st. The U.S.-Canada game is resuming their traditional New Year's Eve game, and they're playing at 8 o'clock New Year's Eve night to finish pool play. Trust me when I tell you, this tournament is fantastic, especially once you get into 8 of the 10 teams. Will make the playoffs, will make the quarterfinals. Then they got the semifinals and the finals, and I think the whole thing will be done by January 4th or 5th, in that range. Tremendous tournament. The 2 teams that do not make the playoffs, always interesting in the sense that they will play a 9 versus 10 game. The loser of that game gets relegated
down.
And there's another tournament going on throughout the world. Who knows? Ireland might win and be elevated. Probably not Ireland,
right.
But there's Japan's been in it.
Yeah, I think there's 5 different levels, and they they each play their own tournaments, and the
Right.
top teams move up and the lower teams move down, and so they're all battling. I think Kazakhstan moved up this year. I
Yep.
think they had been
Borat,
up.
right?
Yeah, that Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is by far the greatest tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been watching it for I don't know 15 years at least. We have relatives up in Canada, so it was always.
I found
you know,
out about
battle.
it, I think, a year or two after they played it in Boston. I was so
Yeah.
disappointed that I
Which
didn't
was-
even know they were in Boston.
96 maybe.
Oh, I'm not sure because
maybe
after
even
one-
later. Yeah.
maybe early 2000s.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But so if you get a chance, tune in NHL Network on that. We'll be talking about it next
I think
week.
it's the 26th it starts.
Yeah,
US.
Yep, December 26th. Always starts on Boxing Day, Canada.
Like US play at 2:30 that day, I believe I saw.
Yes,
Versus Germany.
Your favorites are U.S. Canada to
And
win this thing.
but they're in the same. Yeah, so
Right.
they're in the same.
But they'll have crossover.
They'll have crossover.
in the,
Yeah. Once they get to the
playoffs.
the medal rounds.
Right.
So we covered this on our podcast. 2 sites up there, right? They're
Yeah.
playing at
Oh,
2
yes.
sites. The Canadian Tire Center and TD Place. TD Place is a football stadium.
Right.
So it's an outdoor facility.
We think it's going to be some outdoor games.
So, which is pretty cool. I mean, obviously the semifinals and finals will be at the
Senators play.
with Canadian Tire Center.
Right.
But so interesting, little twist in there. I think they'll probably have everyone will probably play a game or two outdoors.
Yeah, I would
but
think so.
it is a fantastic tournament. U.S. plays Canada on New Year's Eve at like 8 o'clock.
8
So
o'clock.
perfect time. I know where I'll be.
Yeah.
Probably downstairs because my wife won't want to watch it. But so yeah, it is the purest amateur
tournament.
absolutely,
I
there
mean, well,
is.
it's got
For the
some
most part.
professionals, but you
Yeah,
just think
but
amateur, think 80s. So
I
we
don't
do
think
have to.
they're-
We do have to wrap things up here. Right now, we want to thank Marty Crowley for coming in studio to talk about the big tournament that Pat and I will be broadcasting Friday, 6 o'clock here on WOON. With Woonsocket versus Tolman at 6, Cumberland and Lincoln at 7:45. We'll have the championship game next Saturday. We'd like to thank Moose and Greg for calling in. Thank Dave Richards for producing, getting the show on the air. And I want to wish all my Jewish friends a happy Hanukkah, which begins on the 25th this year. And want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas. Pat, Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. And it's a great time of year, as always.
The
And,
greatest time of year.
and we will see you before New Year's as well. So Merry Christmas, everyone. And thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining us or watching us. Facebook, YouTube, WoonsocketRadio.com, 1240 AM. 99.5 FM, lots of ways to join us in the cheap seats. And we appreciate every single one of you. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Holidays, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend as well.
Broadcasting live